Okay.
Yes.
My name is Joni Waymer. I am the pet chaplain for the Unitarian Universalist Church of Indianapolis. And welcome to the celebration of life of the amazing cat, Annabelle. You've been muted, so you don't have to worry about your dog barking or your cat meowing or any background noises, but you will be unmuted during the part of the service where you would like to share your memories of Annabelle. It is the tradition of the Unitarian Universalist churches to light a chalice at the beginning of a service. The chalice symbolizes hope, the sacred, the quest for truth, and the warmth of community. I will light this chalice thinking of the spark of life which infuses all of creation, from the smallest bacterium to the most incredible whale, through the myriad shapes and sizes. We recognize the life force sustaining all, and we give thanks that we can share in it. Here's our chalice. Maker of life, spirit of universal love, to you do they belong. They do not belong to us, these magnificent beings of the earth. They are our companions, our friends, our brothers, and our sisters. We celebrate Annabelle today. We celebrate Brother Sun and Sister Moon. We celebrate all the animals of the earth, human and otherwise. Most of all, we are here to celebrate our friend Annabelle for the blessings of her life with us, for the pain and sadness we feel now that she is gone. All of this we celebrate in story and in song. And now Don would like to make a few remarks.
I can't talk about Annabelle without going back 7 years before she was born. In July 2005, Sue Ellen and I were returning from a trip to Tahoe. We were unloading our luggage, and Sue Ellen pointed out, "I think there's a little bird in the hydrangea bush." The next morning, Sue Ellen was working during the day, and I was teaching a night class. When I returned home, Sue Ellen said, "There's a little kitten in the hydrangea bush." She took a flashlight and showed me a tiny rat-sized black and white kitten. A storm was approaching the following evening, so we used a large styrofoam cooler, cutting some holes in it to create a shelter for the kitten. However, I returned home that evening after teaching. The cooler was no longer on the back deck. I opened the door and Sue Ellen said, "Look in the bathroom." There on top of the toilet seat was the tiny black and white kitten. We ended up keeping him and named him Einstein. About 13 months later, another cat appeared in our yard, and we decided to keep it too, naming him Tiger. On February the 18th, 2013, Einstein unexpectedly died from an aneurysm. At the time, we were treating Tiger for kidney failure, administering fluids under his skin every other day. Tiger passed away in the early morning hours of June the 4th, around 12:15 a.m. I like to think he waited to die until my birthday was over. We had said we'd wait 3 or 4 months before we considered getting another cat. But by the end of June, we found ourselves driving all over the state in search of one. And then a rescue center in Edinburgh sent us a picture of a cute black and white kitten, and we knew we had to see her. When we were down looking at Annabelle, little Theodore jumped in our lap, strutting along as if to say, "Take me, take me." And so we took both kittens and welcomed them to our home. Over the years, they brought us immeasurable, pleasurable joy and happiness, filling our home with playful antics and affection. When Annabelle was about 2 years old, she started jumping into my bed, and I would pet her. Later, I would call the petting snuggling. And for years, she would jump in the bed. She would knead on the blanket. And I'd say, come on, let's snuggle. She would come over, put her head on my knees. I would start petting her. Annabelle had many unique qualities. One of them was a very unique hiss. It was both loud and very scary. But what I loved most was when she would do things just to irritate me. At the house, we had a very large picture window. Annabelle would climb on top of the recliner and then jump to the top of the window while I was making my latte, wanting to jump before I saw her up there and before I could yell, get down. On the evening of Monday the 26th, I knew it would be the last time we would snuggle. I didn't want to go to sleep. I didn't want to stop petting her. But the next morning, I again tried to feed her with a spoon. By then, I was having to spoon feed her to get her to eat anything. At the vet, I held her in my arms while the medicines were being administered, crying all the time. After the vet checked to make sure her heart had stopped, he left the room. I felt so bad about taking her life. But even though I had made a promise not to let her starve to death, it didn't ease the pain I felt. I put some ashes in a ring box with a picture on it. I did the same thing for Tiger and Einstein. Her ashes arrived in like a little wooden carton coffin. I keep that by my bedside because that's where I mostly remember Annabelle and her snuggling. I also had a paw print. It's not very good view. There you go. Made, which I keep on my computer desk. I want to thank everyone for attending. I especially want to thank Zert and Frida for their unwavering support during this time. I want to also thank the Unitarian Universalist Church and her pet Minister Joni for helping me navigate this grief. Now I'm going to attempt to show a 3-minute slideshow, so bear with me. I have to share the screen. Is where? Right there. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Let's try that.
Long ago, far away, life was clear. Close your eyes. Remember is a place from long ago. Remember, filled with everything you know. Remember, when you're sad and feeling down. Remember, turn around. Remember, life is just a memory. Remember, close your eyes and you can see. Remember, think of all that life can be. Remember,
Hey, Joni, you take it away.
Thank you. If everyone could unmute themselves, that'd be fine. Um, I know that some of you would like to make share some of your experiences as well. So we're gonna, Freda, did you want to start?
Sure, I can start. Thanks so much, Joni. Thanks for doing this. I'm Frida. I'm Don's daughter. And I just wanted to say a couple really quick things about some things that I loved about Annabelle. I loved how beautiful she was, as you can see from the photos and videos. She was just such a pretty cat, and I loved looking at her. She was also a really sensitive cat. I loved how sensitive she was. In fact, I swear that Annabelle knew a storm was coming before the weather forecaster even knew that it was coming. I loved how sassy she was. Oftentimes, when I visited, I would hold Annabelle while my dad clipped her toenails, and she did not like that. And she would let me know with that signature hiss that he mentioned, but sometimes I'd get it for days afterwards. And I like that attitude. I loved how regal she was. She may have looked like a somewhat spoiled cat to average human observer, but she was a queen. She knew she was a queen and she wasn't spoiled. She was just getting the treatment that a queen deserves. I loved most of all just how much Annabelle adored my father and just the sweet affection that they shared with each other. They gave each other so much joy and so much comfort. And I'm very grateful that she was in his life, very grateful that she was in my life. And I'll really miss her. Thank you.
Thank you. Zerka?
I um I just jotted a little something down this morning and bringing Annabelle and this gathering to mind that I'd like to share. In memory of Annabelle, I didn't know you that well. Never spent nights our bodies curled up in familiar comfort, but still, I know many things about you. I know that you were dear and near to my father, a deep and loving companionship, meaningful in both the challenges of loss and illness that you lived through together and the fleeting moments of sweetness and laughter. And for this, my heart celebrates the way in which you have given yourself so completely to this, from the first moments of your arrival to the bittersweet goodbyes we gather to honor today. And I would share that I also see the ways in which your giving is here and remains, now and through the years, to me, your distant relative. How from this remote proximity, I witnessed the soft and playful ways my father spoke of you and spoke to you. Random interruptions during catch-up calls, sharing with him the challenges and successes of each other's lives, the ways fathers and sons are well to do. But in these ways of connecting, offered a view also into witnessing the abiding love, strength, and kindness of his love for you. Aspects that, in my youth and hubris, were not as known to me. Ways of being that only reveal themselves if I would care to look deeper. These were never aspects that were not present, ever, in his loving of me. But by way of knowing you, Annabelle, became to know as me an invitation that this love reflected in the many moments over the years has brought between the love of father and son ever more clear. So thank you for these beautiful gifts and teachings. Your mission of play, connection, and love will escort you to your next life of 9 and here still live on. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to say anything? Please feel free to unmute yourself.
I'll say a couple words. I'm Kieran. I'm Don's grandson. I didn't have that much time face to face with Annabelle. I did had the good fortune to meet her when I came to visit Indy a few months ago, um, and just struck immediately by her very big love and protectiveness of Grandpa Don, but also that she embraced me as her family right away. Um, she came in and came up to me ready to size me up for if she was worthy for her territory, and then just immediately plopped herself right next to me and was purring, and it was so lovely, and I think encapsulates a lot who she was. Just she was capable of lots of love, and she was capable of lots of fierceness. Um, she had a big job throughout her whole life. She carried herself through different homes, different members of that home, a lot of turmoil and chaos in my grandfather's life, um, and with that, really brought her sense of home with her, and kept that joy and that love in that home. And for that, I'm really grateful to her. I'm really grateful that I got to meet her towards the end of her life. Got to give her just a little bit of that love back um, before I left again. So thank you, Annabelle. Um, I will hold that love for her forever.
Anyone else?
I'd like to say a few words, Johnny. Don.
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to get to know Annabelle well. Don and I are friends. And when I would visit, her and Theodore were curious, but Annabelle would come up to me and check me out and then go lay down somewhere and just stare at me. She still wasn't sure if I should be there or not. Um, I enjoyed your stories, Don, when it came to telling me about the interactions between Theodore and Annabelle. And Frida, you're right. She was a beautiful cat. Um, and I'm really sorry that you and Theodore have lost such a dear friend.
Thank you. Anyone else like to say anything? Okay. I'm going to mute everyone again.
Um,
Oh, no, go
I
ahead.
put what I wanted
Go
to
ahead.
say in the chat, and I can read it if you'd like, Dawn.
Oh, would you like to read it, or would you
Mm.
like?
Yeah, I just want to say, Dawn, that unfortunately I never got to meet Annabelle, but I know the pain you're going through because I also lost my two babies, my soulmates, within the last 3 years, about 4 months apart. So I feel your pain very strongly. And I want to say you're not alone, and Annabelle was very lucky to have you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Don't let me mute you if you want to say something. All right. I'm going to mute everyone for this. I didn't know Annabelle personally at all. But in the last 2 weeks, I have come to know of her through Don and how absolutely wonderful he must have been for all of you. And the grace and the beauty that you can see when you see her pictures that she would have shared with all of you. The human animal bond is precious and it's a mysterious thing. No one can understand it unless they have experienced it themselves. Those of us who have lived with animal companions, we know this well. We know it intimately. We know that when our dog comes running to the door for us when we come home, or our cat jumps from the highest place in the house to try to land in our arms, we know it when they curl up beside us at night and they want nothing more than to sleep with us and to be with us because we are family and we are their den, and their safe place. But we know it most intimately when we look deep into each other's eyes and we see each other's soul. An anonymous poet once wrote, "Until one has loved an animal, a part of one's soul remains unawakened." I believe that with all my heart. And we're here today because Don's soul has certainly been awakened by the animal in his life, and he's been touched deeply and mysteriously by Annabelle. This is the mystery of two different species falling in love with each other. I will never understand it, how two different beings that don't seem to be very much alike can share such a deep and holy bond that goes beyond any words. We need words to communicate with each other as people. Often we do not need any words to communicate on a very deep level with the animal companions in our lives. This is the story of Annabelle and Don, the magical and beautiful place they had in each other's lives. This was a mutual love. It's the kind of love that sustains us, it feeds us, it sees us through the really difficult times in our lives. How many times have our animals that we live with been there when it was the toughest time in our life, and they were the ones who came to take care of us? It is this love that reminds us of the truth of the Unitarian Universalist principle of interconnectedness. Indeed, we are all one. We are, in the end, all the same, human and animal, friend and companion. Annabelle shared her life and her love with Don, and he did the same with her. They had many of the same needs for affection, for time, for gentleness. And so today, even in sadness, we celebrate the life that Annabelle and Don have shared together. We celebrate the life that Annabelle shared with many of you. For in knowing and loving her, you are truly blessed. Now we will do a closing blessing and extinguish our chalice. Annabelle, rest in the love of those who cared so deeply for you, who loved you well. Now you will feel no pain, no need, no loneliness. Now you can run free and chase all the rodents you want, but don't kill any of them. Spirit of love, you sent Annabelle to this family, and she was deeply loved, a friend and a sister. As she leaves us now, we thank you for her friendship and her love. We thank you for all the hours of sun, for all that was learned from her. We thank you for the joy she brought into these lives. Now, as Annabelle crosses the Rainbow Bridge, may our memories of that love and joy never fade. May Annabelle rest in the arms of that great love and in our hearts forever. Let us send her on. Blessed be, and amen. Now we will extinguish this flame to remind us love is the center. As we explore and rest, as we engage and heal, love remains the center. When all we can see are cold ashes, love remains. Thank you all for being here for Don. That concludes our ceremony, our service, unless Don wishes to say something else to you. Don, did you have anything else? You're muted. You're muted, Don.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank everyone for coming. It meant so much to me and to Theodore. He's been grieving a little bit more the last couple of days, but we're taking care of each other the best we can, and we're helping each other. Thank you.